When we speak about butterfly, we need to consider we can think about all the possibilities like butterfly effect, transformation, metamorphosis.
We are people who live in society, and we keep on observing this class division and the division of psychological division, like caste division and everything. And when you go through a metropolitan city, the class division is so very huge, and without considering it, you cannot write a story at all. There is a watchman and the owner of the building, and there is a social dynamic which is so very diverse. In the same way, in this film, in every story there is a class division. What is happening right now is in the visual storytelling is diminishing in a lot of commercial cinemas.
Yes,
I think to actually make people feel is so very important, rather to tell what people should feel.
Also, tell us about the story of the old couple. It's so intriguing. If you can talk about how does that fit into this overall theme of your transformation or the Roopanthara that you are talking about in the film?
I think that is one story where people don't know what to make out of it.
Yes.
How is it a transformation? I think it's a very simple thing.
And they're also confused about whose transformation it is, right? So you can shed some light on it. It was about our dystopian world where Tata comes into gang and tells the story. The similar situation we as a team have here. Like we are at the gunpoint of the audience here, saying that we have to say this story, right? So, and it is not the conventional film what we do in the market now. And we are that Tata who are telling the story, like all we teammates. And we are at the gunpoint and at the mercy of the audience saying it. So, will the audience transform?
Hello everyone, welcome to Fincopath. It is not a stretch to say that we are living in the times of resurgence of Kannada cinema. In this journey along comes yet another film which establishes this rise of Kannada cinema that we had the opportunity to watch recently. We are talking about Roopanthara by debutant director Mithilesh Edavalath. And today we have the privilege of talking to Team Roopanthara, director Mithilesh, producer Suhan Prasad, and friend of the channel, our brother, Raj B Shetty, Raj Bhai. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
Hello, thank you so much for
inviting. Thank you so much, Subdeep.
So this film has created a lot of buzz, and really we are all so intrigued by the way things panned out here, and it's just getting appreciation all over the country. And it's a Kannada film, but everybody who has watched it has really enjoyed it. So my first question we want to start with Mithilesh. So Mithilesh, we understand that you are a Malayali, and Malayalam cinema is perhaps like one of the most critically acclaimed cinema of the country. So what motivated you to make a debut feature in Kannada? Like, we don't have any complaints whatsoever. Excellent, whatever but very interested to understand your thought process, Mithilesh.
No, actually, I haven't gone to Kerala in a long time. I am in Bangalore from years. So it was easy to conceive something, a place where I'm living. And I've stayed in a lot of places in Bangalore. So I don't think, I could have placed it anywhere else. That was the main reason why Kannada. And I have worked in Kannada industry. I have been an assistant director. I have been assistant director in ads, short films and everything. I've made short films. So I didn't find it to be that difficult initially when I started the journey. I thought it was very easy. Then later I realized, I need to know more details, intricacies, so many things. That happened later. For me to get a subject and work on it and then think, okay, this should be done in Kannada was very easy. Why not Malayalam? Because if you see the movie, this cannot be placed in Kerala that easily. Because that's the only other language I know or comfortable with. And I realized that I've stayed in Karnataka more years than Kerala. So people I met, people I've had conversations with, deep conversations with, were people of Bangalore. So it was not a difficult choice for me to. And all the characters of the movies were seen in Bangalore or Karnataka. So yeah, so it was not difficult for me to.
Right.
It was not at all a Malayalam theme.
Just a follow-up on that, Mithilesh. This is your first film. You said you have done your short films before. How difficult is it for a person to make a film, like from a debutante's perspective? Like how we have heard stories that to get things together, it is a huge task to get everything together, especially if you're doing it for the first time, a feature-long film. So tell me about your experience about making your first debut film.
Yeah, even I have friends in film field who worked with me as assistant directors. It would have been very, very, very difficult if I didn't meet these guys. So I mean, starting from Suhan, it's very difficult to find someone like that who just supports whatever you say. He'll have questions, but if you convince him, and it's quite easy to convince, but if you convince him, he'll get it done for you. He'll stand by you. And I mean, then I met Raj after. Same day I met Raj also. I was allowed to call him any time, any day regarding any doubts, regarding anything. So supportive. And then Praveen Sriyan, whom I credit all the quality of the visual you see. And Midun, music. So if you spend some time with them and understand their approach towards making movies, you will realize it wouldn't have been a very difficult journey for me at all. It was very easy. Comparing to the stories, the experience I hear from my friends. Maybe I'll have to go through that at some point in life, but this was a wonderful experience. You should have, I mean, if you saw during the premiere when I was with Suhan, I mean, we went through a lot. At no point this guy has shown any anger towards anything. So I mean, it's difficult for people to understand, but that's the truth. Without these guys, it wouldn't have been possible.
That is so good to hear.
Suhan, I had a question for you. I mean, we are living at a time when, there is a split between the cinema watching experience. There's an OTT audience who thinks about more patient watch, more offbeat film to come to OTT and watch from home. And there's mostly spectacle around films which is happening in the theaters. Your film also has a lot of spectacles. The visuals are brilliant, but it also is a patient watch. So how easy or difficult is it to back a film like that and also take that option of having that come to the theaters first and then maybe probably in the OTT?
Yeah, actually, the journey of our production house, along with Raj and both the production house, has been the same. We banked on films which we could afford. We all come from a middle class family where we can invest only so much for the film. To go for a spectacle is out of reach for us, basically. So we planned on what we can achieve and what we are comfortable in, basically. So when we did Ondu Mottaya Kate also, that was the approach we took along with Raj. And with a film like Roopanthara, it will seem like a large budget, big, ambitious movie, yes. But we spent where we wanted to spend only. We selective spending, and we had to plan everything meticulously with the cast, with the casting, and all the even the future what we created is planned meticulously and specifically in all parts. So that was the thing what we approached as, and always for me it is the gut feeling of the script what I take in. So if that works for me as an audience, when the director says it, then I'm completely into it. That's the gut feeling I rely upon when I, start or initiate the project. So I had that, like 10 times in this, and that was the only backing I needed. That's how we went through. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that backing. All of the stories are actually fascinating, but I'll start with the first story, Rajbhai, the one having you. And I wanted to understand, before getting into the story, you have played these negative characters with negative shades. I would not say an out-and-out negative character, but characters with negative shade quite a few times, right? kind of back to back. We have watched that. So how difficult it is to still maintain a unique, component to each of these characters you play, so that it does not work cliched for the viewers. That unique part. How did you approach this character particularly?
I think every character, if you actually see it in the depth, are very different. We really think that all the negative characters are the same. But the thing is, I used to tell Shiva, who has that negative side to him, is a rowdy who doesn't know he is a rowdy.
Yes.
He's from Garuda Gamana Rishabhavahana.
Yes.
He's a commoner who doesn't know that he's a rowdy, and who doesn't actually use his power of intimidation to gain something. That's a very, very different psychology from the character that I have played in Roopanthara. Roopanthara, he knows that he can intimidate. He knows that he's a rowdy. So he wants to fight for no reason because he knows that he's very powerful. I think that is the biggest difference. I mean, in every character, if you see, I have played a negative role in Turbo.
Yes.
Where the character is so big. Actually, he's so very huge in terms of power. That is the reason I tried to play him. The character's back is always crouching and he looks small. The reason being, like, he's so big that he doesn't need to look physically big. So he knows that he's too powerful. But this character is a very common rowdy you may find in areas of metropolitan cities, who wants to intimidate and scare people and gain something out of it. I think that is a kind of character. That is the reason he knows how to speak. He knows how to scare people. And I think these are the psychological differences. The moment you experience the psychological difference of the character, then the body language itself changes. I think you need to understand what is the difference between two different people. That is why, unfortunately, because I was the writer, when I was writing the additional screenplay and dialogue, I exactly know what he is thinking when he tells the dialogue. So the writer in me helps the actor in me so that I can play it very differently.
Right.
That is extremely interesting, and I just want to build on that. And again, Rajbhai and Mithilesh, so this both of you can answer it. So there is, in the story where you are playing the rowdy, there is this fight scene which feels very real, like it is two people who are, it's not like the synchronized fight scenes we are so used to see around. There are two people, they are struggling, and they are huffing and puffing, and like somehow the character which Rajbhai plays, it's like he didn't expect that person to fight back, really, like the way he did. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a shock. And there is also this kind of a class conflict. There's a social class. You can see the guy that's an IT guy, and there's like this person.
Correct.
So there is that anger also. So talk us a little bit about the conceivement of the scene, and Rajbhai, how did you approach that particular scene also?
Mithilesh, you answer.
Okay. The story is about how the power structure works. As he said, he knows he's a rowdy. So initially, my fear was, so he came back from Garuda Gamana shoot, and he has shown me some clips, which was the most important sequence in the movie, and I was like, so I had this fear, seriously had this fear of, okay, he's done the similar thing. We have a procession in our movie also. So how is it going to be, the difference? And I didn't tell him anything. And then he started walking. You remember the first scene where he's walking towards the procession?
Yes.
He started walking. He took a cap from somewhere. He started walking. And the way he was walking, the way he was behaving with the others, it was completely different from Shiva of Garuda Gamana. That's where I realized he has just thought about this character a lot without even there was no discussion because he's the writer. There was no discussion. There was nothing. So the detailing that he has brought in was continued after that. The character is basically the one who controls the entire space. So to fight with a guy who looks very powerless, he doesn't look powerless. He can beat a guy. But it was very important that the fight of them look like a struggle, wherein which, okay, now that guy doesn't know he's a big guy or a powerful guy. He knows he's powerful, but the resistance is there. So now two guys fight where power can be in a very equal. They don't know he's powerful, and he might be resisting. So it cannot be a staged one, even though it's pretty staged. It was very well rehearsed, and stuff. Jeevan D'Souza is the Chetan D'Souza is the. So there was no other way for us. We did look at certain references, but all references that we looked into at one point or the other, it becomes or it looks like a stage. So we gave him complete freedom to do however he wants. We only stopped him when we kind of realized, okay, it's gonna look staged. It cannot look staged because this guy has to go through a really good struggle, and then he has to defeat this guy, and then after that he has to go through certain things. So this cannot be a staged thing.
Sorry, I had to add on to what Mithilesh is saying. See, in the entirety of the film, when my story starts, my character is in complete control, actually, of the situation. For example, he's walking and everybody is observing him. He comes and the puja stops, and then they put a mala to the god, and then everybody wants him to dance, and then everybody wants him to dance with him, and somebody needs to offer a drink to him, and somebody comes and he pushes. He is in control, and the moment he walks inside somebody's home, he absolutely looks like he has done it before. And with the character of an IT guy, he asks one simple question: what do you need? Roll call. Do you need money? Maybe that shows, maybe he has also gone through that before. Somebody has stopped him, maybe because he is a weak looking guy in a metropolitan city. And that is the reason maybe he also has that inside him, that frustration, that every single time you actually get something without you deserving something. And that is the reason maybe he throws the stones and runs, because he wants to give back and then escape. Yes. And when he escapes, actually this man enters his house. But now he wants to just shoo him away by scaring him, by holding a knife. So here what you see is both of them don't decide to fight in that way. They both of them don't want that. When they want him, he doesn't come and slap him. Only because he held the knife, he wants to take control of the situation. And only because he is pushed to the corner, he accidentally cuts his hand. So if you see, that needs to translate very well. And in that way, the staging fight doesn't have that much of effect. So even the staging should look unstaged. Of course, everything is staged, right? In front of the camera, everything is staged. But it should look as if like a progression of two minds which keep on changing because of the situation. So once he gets cut, his ego gets triggered, and then he keeps slapping, and then again he gets cut. And now it is not like, I'm not going to leave you. And then he throws something, and then he throws back, he might, and then he hits him so hard and makes him sleep. Then again he fights back. I think that keeps on. Maybe he doesn't want to do what he does. And even the other person is so cornered that he doesn't want to take it anymore. Maybe because of the traffic of a metropolitan city, maybe of the work pressure. You need to actually look at these two characters and still need to understand the psychology of the character. I think that is the fight. That is the fight.
I would like to add to that. I mean, the kind of craft we had in mind for Raj's story it is basically to show the power. So inside the house in the first scene, when he gets up, that's the first time camera. Yeah. So camera gets up with him, goes with him. When he's in a bike, camera moves with him. When the procession, camera moves with him. When he's running, camera moves with him. Inside the house, the fight has to move with him, even though we are following the other characters. And something happened inside the room, camera doesn't move. stuck. It's like stuck, like his character is stuck. So I mean, I don't want to give more details, but yeah, that was the idea. So, and Chetan was quite understand. He understood.
Yeah. Chetan is a wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful choreographer for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very different from what he normally does, but he clearly understood. He did Avesham also, I guess. I haven't seen the movie. So.
Yeah.
That part you mentioned, that both of these characters are having a lot of baggage. It's not only about that one fight. They are fighting so much more that they are facing maybe every day. That is so well communicated. That elevates the story. And tell me, the other person you are fighting, is that the director of Shivamma? Is that Jaishankar? Yes, I thought so.
Two directors are fighting, yeah.
Yeah, because we made a video on Shivamma, the face looked so familiar, and then I saw the prints as well. Also, tell us, Rajbhai, I mean, I don't know if we are thinking, just thinking aloud, when the story ends, we find you kind of in a fetal position. Was that thought through? Is it like you're going back?
Absolutely. Correct. Yeah. I think there are two characters which are, having a birth. One is a rebirth and another is actual birth. I think that was the idea. That is the reason the story became so very personal, because of what is happening right now is in the visual storytelling is diminishing in a lot of commercial cinemas.
Yes.
I think to actually make people feel is so very important, rather to tell what people should feel.
Yeah.
I think this film was about it. The people who could find that he was in that position and having a rebirth to himself had so much of good experience from that visual, which no audio or no dialogue can communicate. I think that was written even in the first draft in the same way. Those are the visuals that drawn us to make this film together.
Right. Okay. And that, these social walls, they colliding with each other, that kind of continues in all of the stories. In fact, in that story of the beggar woman, we kind of see three walls. There is this beggar woman, below poverty line people. Then there's the policeman, the lower middle class who are kind of sandwiched in between. And there is the upper class who kind of controls, dictates. So along with this theme of transformation, you also have this different worlds colliding as a subtext running across the film, is it?
Mithilesh.
Yeah, definitely. When we speak about Butterfly, we need to consider we can think about all the possibilities, like butterfly effect, transformation, metamorphosis. So yeah, I mean, if you look at Beggar Lady, it was very much needed for us to have a closure for her, even though it's not a real closure. I mean, she is with the person who has a complete control over the space, and he's dancing. He's happy with her. She might not recognize it, but we know it. So I'm in a safer zone, and a person who just went through the biggest tragedy in his life, just come without looking at anything, hitting someone, it made sense for us. It made sense. That could have affected another person's life for somebody. The boy's character also goes through a similar way. Raj's character, obviously. So, I mean, we consider all the possibilities of Butterfly, I feel, isn't it, Raj?
Yeah, the thing that I want to add on to is, we are people who live in society, and we keep on observing this class division and the division of psychological division, caste division and everything. And when you go through a metropolitan city, the class division is so very huge, and without considering it, you cannot write a story at all. There is a watchman and the owner of the building, and there is a social dynamic which is so very diverse. In the same way, in this film, in every story, there is a class division. There is a generation gap between a parent and a son, which has affected the son in such a way that he's always seeing the same fight in one scene you see the fight in the kitchen, and that has made what he is today. And that's the thing with the society, like, some change in some character with everybody. And with my story, and there is me and there is an IT guy who live in the same world but has a completely different psychological world and societal world as well, and they come and collide. Maybe because of these two people, maybe an IT guy, hitting accidentally another IT guy wouldn't have caused so much of stir.
Yes.
And a rowdy,
Absolutely.
rowdy hitting another rowdy accidentally would have created much stir, but would have ended up very differently. And because of these two societal structure, the story has so much differences. And even with the story that you recognize, the police station story, there is a light man, and he is using his power dynamics to control the bottom, who cannot actually speak the language that they speak. And that is such a cruel thing, because she cannot express what she feels and what is her truth. And you assume, and we regularly do that. I think we every single day we keep on doing it. And that social dynamic, that is so very important to the story. If all the three were from the same social status, the story wouldn't have ended up the same way. And with the biggest social dynamic comes in the poor farmer coming to a city, and he actually getting admitted to a hospital, and he cannot go to a hotel and eat his own food. And the way he behaves, the beggar lady, when she is actually left to go and she is free, she cannot run, because she doesn't know whether this is a trap or this is a freedom. That is, she doesn't want to run. And with the old man, when somebody asks, like, get from here and get out here, he goes it, maybe because he's used to it.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that is a harassment. He doesn't know that is people are actually, judging him because of his costume and because of who he is.
Yeah, he's stuck a bit.
I think he'll join. It's
Yeah.
not an issue.
Sure. Let's.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I want to let's so he'll join. So I'll just move on to the next question, and Mithilesh and Suhan, both of you, can try and answer it. So I want to stick with the police station scene, really, which is very interesting. Is, as Arup has pointed out, one of the things which I noticed in that is that, and you rarely see that happening, is that the vulnerability of the police also comes out very nicely. So there is this young chap who has joined, and he's talking to his uncle, and the uncle says, no, don't call me uncle here. And then he is just I don't know the actor's name, but he just blew my mind, the way he was standing there, and like the way his expressions were, and the way he's learning how things are working in such a situation. And there are so many things happening really in the police station itself. So there is this guy, as you know, that is using his social clout, and there are these other police officers, senior police officers, then junior police officers. Then there are other two guys who are fighting, which is like an inspiration. The two guys, both of them have powerful parents. Like, I got a reminder of Janta Hai Mera Baap Kaun Hai. Like, both of them have that kind of a like Delhi Brad vibe. So how do you bring all of this together in a scene and still like kind of make sense of everything that's happening, and like also drive the story forward in a very organic way? If you could explain a little bit about that.
Yeah. So as an audience, when I first read it, the dynamism itself, what attracted me. See, there is a guy, a senior police constable, who knows the system in and out every day. He sees that in and out, and he knows what is good, what is bad, but he's not able to take a decision in any of it. Like, his hands are tied from different factors. And there is another constable who is just new to the system, absorbing everything like a piece of sponge, absorbing everything, like he's seeing good, bad, everything. And there comes a point when he has to take a decision, and it is so meticulously tied together. And the comparison of these two characters together, he learning from him and he getting new informations, and the perspective of the young constable, we are with him throughout the story. And when the transformation happens in him with the information, it happens with the audience also. Until then, we don't know whose side to take on. Is the key point I liked in this part of the story. And like I was also blown away by when I read it for the first time, and when I discussed with Mithilesh.
I mean, these were the characters I've seen. So the reason why I had to put them in a story is because they might not be the people that we see they are, especially Raj's character. The most interesting thing was that he wanted to become something else, which he is normally is not. He is not that. So it's his pressure, peer pressure, or political pressure, social pressure, which has made him that. So he's going to behave in a way that he's not. I mean, having given or looking at him, you might not expect him to just fight with a random guy with that kind of physique. With a guy whose physique is a little better, be it the police guy, the senior police person, he is in the system from a long time. He is not that person whom we see there. So much into the system that he cannot change. A lot of people asked me, why are you making a character of a young guy who is changing? Why can't you make the elder guy change? The whole point is he can't change. I mean, he cannot become the butterfly. Entire story mein, the one person who knows something and who would have at least tried to change in his lifetime was him.
Yeah,
that's why
he's the one who is revealing the truth to the young new journey. Yes, yes.
He's basically like, okay, I understood it in my life. I'm giving you a wisdom. Do whatever. I mean, if he knows what the young guy do or he might do, or did he know that he might do, is another question. Same with the farmer. It looks like a cute love story. A lot of things going on between them. I used to think a lot of love stories which I've seen is a beautiful love story. There are more layers into it when we go very deep into it. I can't say more because a lot of things might be revealed. And I mean, it's very clear with the boy with the game. It's very clear what kind of things he has gone through and why is he doing all these things, why he is not able to change, or is the change real, and all those stuffs. So yeah, I mean, if you look at the future episodes, we try to give layer to each characters. That's why we're taking a lot of time there. The young guy went through a lot. That's why he's affected by certain stories. So everyone is affected by certain stories because of a particular layer which we gave them, or which is already there. We didn't give them. It's already there. So the most important thing was to give layers to each character, which without saying it, maybe show it. Yeah, Raj, I want you to add something.
Nothing. I think I added so much, and I don't know where I actually lost my internet. Yeah, the thing is, it's not about layering. Every human being is complex, and he's not as simple as he seems. That is what we added. We don't try to make a character complicated. We actually try to make the character as simple as possible. But we realize the fact that human beings are complicated. Constable can recognize, the head constable can recognize everything. And maybe he is much more experienced than the policeman, the SI. He knows where the case is leading and what would happen and how would it end and everything. But still, after everything, too much in the system to make any change. We all become that. Sometimes we keep on realizing, okay, these are the kind of films that will work, and these are the kind of films that we want to do. But we keep on doing the films that we think that the audience would watch. The only reason being that is very comfortable. That is very very risk free. I think he's like us. Many of the people want to leave the job and pursue their passion, but they can't do because they're too comfortable in their own skin. That doesn't mean they can't see it. They can see it. but we are all become as a too comfortable in our own skin. I think that is a representation of that character. That is the reason. And maybe this constable is his relative. He's actually educating him. With others, he's not even revealing,
Yeah.
because I think he wants to know. He knows that, like, somewhere you need to lose yourself to work in the system, and that is the reason he keep on asking, "Are you learning everything? Are you observing everything?" Then he keeps on asking the right question to make him watch the perspective, because you need to watch the perspective till you need to make or do what is comfortable. I think that's a very realistic portrayal of any character. I don't think that is very complicated. That is very real, I think. Like us.
It's a real Rajbhai, but it is very hard to do. From what because of all the movies we watch, we see only very selected few of them getting this thing right. Where you are actually involved in everything. That's yes. One wants to add something, I think.
Yeah, Shubhadeep, I want to add something on this note. So I was reading a review from a reviewer. I felt so related to it. It was about our dystopian world where Tata comes into gang and tells the story. The similar situation we as a team have here, like we are at the gunpoint of the audience here, saying that we have to say this story, right? So, and it is not the conventional film what we do in the market now, and we are that Tata who are telling the story, like all we teammates, and we are at the gunpoint and at the mercy of the audience saying it. So will the audience transform? Like, will the metamorphosis?
Oh wow,
That's so beautifully put, Suhan.
that's
No,
super
no, it was
meta.
not put by me. It was put by a reviewer, and I could relate it so much. Yeah.
Right. Talking about the dystopian world, so it's so well done. I mean, tell us, how did you conceive it, and the visuals, the way the characters come in. Just take us through about that world and the way you approached it. Suhan or Mithilesh?
Yeah. Initially, it was just mentioned in the script that it's a world where it's a future space where the humanity kind of is destroyed, where they have guns, where they have cars, which is of high state of the art, everything. But the clothes they are wearing, their face, everything doesn't represent very affluent society or something. But all that they possess is quite foreign, quite different from what they are. That was the idea. And then we kind of tried different spaces to place this future world. But all looked like, for example, if you had to go to a desert, it might not be different from wherever you see. You might have seen that space. If you went to some places in North Karnataka, it is North Karnataka. It's very clear. It was Praveen's suggestion. It was all Praveen's idea to create a VFX space wherein which you can give a lot of detailing about the world in the background, in the foreground, with the properties, with the everything. So you don't need to explain a lot there. So it was all done by him. Then we had help from a person called Sunil Panjaral to design all the properties. And then we had Arshad, who made all the properties, the art design. Then Pranati, JLX Studio, who made all the costume. And the VFX team who helped us a lot, Silver Pumpkin. So it was actually Praveen's vision, which took us there. And Praveen has seen a lot of... Praveen's main research was seeing a lot of bad VFX movies. And he kind of realized, and he spoke. We went and met all the people who did the VFX of a lot of big movies. And he was very keen to understand what's going wrong with those movies, about lighting, how much time you should spend for lighting. And it was all done by him. While shooting also, we were quite unaware of what world we are creating, even though we had an idea. And there were a lot of changes last moment in the costume, colors, to everything fit to that world. So that was the entire journey of the future space.
Right. My favorite moment of the film is in the last lap when this little boy laughs in the dystopian world. I'm not talking about why, but because that would be spoiler. But that moment is so moving, and then he laughs, and they kind of start playing. Till that point, it was a different vibe altogether, and it changes. Across the storytelling, they also go through a change. That was so brilliantly done. And the other one is your dystopian world has today as a once upon a time. So that was so well done, Jenny.
Also, one has to really appreciate, like, all of you guys, with the fact that, like, you said that you are working with a limited budget, but when you look at the VFX and you look at the way the thing was, when we are seeing the future world, the futuristic world, and the all the costumes and the cars and the weapons, like, they looked so good, like, so good. I have seen, like, so much higher production houses with so much of budget doing so much worse, sir.
I think, I think the biggest credit should go to Praveen, and also to the time we had. What happens with bigger production is they will be having the money, but they won't be having the time to wait for it to become better. And Praveen knew the limitation that we had. Okay, we only have this much, and we are not trying to show how good of VFX artists that we have, or what kind of a world that we can create. We are only trying to give you an idea that there is a world, and this story is happening in that world. For that world to communicate in the visual, what are the VFX that are needed? What are the practical equipments that are needed? And what are the weapons that are needed? What are the costumes that are needed? So we marked everything in the way, especially Praveen. He actually supervised the VFX as well. Fortunately, he is the DOP and he knows the VFX and he knows lighting and everything. So everything he supervised so that the production doesn't look bad. See, audience doesn't know, like when they purchase a ticket, it's 150 or 200 rupees ticket. They can watch a 600 crore movie and they can watch a movie which was done in a shoestring budget. But the experience shouldn't be lost. They didn't ask you to make the movie in such a small budget.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it is our job to actually work and give time so that the experience is communicated well. It is not showing off that, okay, we can do so many things. It is only that, okay, this is the world. Are you believe this? Is this world believable? If it is believable, we are happy. That's the thing.
I want to add to this, like with Praveen, and when we do VFX, it's all the correct knowledge transfer to all the department it goes. So it was very important of Praveen to convey it clean to everybody. There are so many artists involved. There is a matte painting artist, there is a VFX artist, compositor artist. There's a lot of people, and that knowledge transfer had to happen very rightly. The ideas can go away haywire. And that was the main thing Praveen did, like in supervising everything with the VFX. He shot the visual. Also, he had in mind what VFX had to come later, and we had handpicked all this VFX team. It's not a single team which we gave it to and do the VFX. It's not like that. We handpicked a German matte painting artist who does matte painting and different people, and we assembled a team. That was all on Praveen's part, and the knowledge transfer he has done cleanly to all these people is the result what you see today. Yeah.
That is so
And also
awesome.
the art direction.
Yeah.
And also the art direction, in the sense, see, when you actually do extension of a set, the properties that are on the set should be actually extension of the property that you will create post, because that should match. Otherwise, the world wouldn't. The world are not similar. I think Arshad did such a good job, and with the car, the way it looks and everything, and also with the sound effects. See, world building is not done by one single person.
Yeah.
Praveen did this. Praveen actually asked Arshad what to do and how much to do and everything. And there was another art director called Praveen.
Praveen was
Yeah, he actually did the flooring and those flooring and that kind of stuff. And then the makeup, and then comes the costume. Everything should be communicated, and that is the final result you see.
Right.
Ronex did the makeup.
Yeah, Ronex
Yeah, yeah.
did the makeup. And when it comes to cost cutting, we were very clear that we are not going to use any 3D objects like in the foreground or do things like that. We are going to do everything a prop wise. So prop wise, it will reduce the cost than going to 3D later. Okay. So these were the little things we kept focused on so that we could reduce the budget and still show the future so well what it is shown now. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Also, tell us about the story of the old couple. It's so intriguing. First of all, that journey along with them, the way the film progresses is brilliant. And then we have this ending. I mean, without giving the spoilers, Mithilesh, Rajbhai, if you can talk about, how does that fit into this overall theme of your transformation or the Roopanthara that you are talking about in the film?
Yeah, I think that is one story where people don't know what to make out of it.
Yes.
How is it a transformation? I think it's a very, very
and
simple
they're
thing.
also confused about whose transformation it is, right? So you can shed some light on it. So it is good. Yeah.
Like I'll ask you a simple thing. Like, there is something that I love the most, and I'm not able to leave you, and that might be you, speaking to you. But somehow I recognize it is jeopardizing your whole career because you are not able to. I think you are not able to proceed because of me. I am enjoying this relation. I'm absolutely happy. But I can see that if I don't talk to you, you can be much more than what you are today. So what would be the decision that I would take? Is it about me or is it about you? And the moment it is about you, and I don't care about how much it hurts, that's a transformation. I think letting go something when it is so much needed, that is the biggest courage that one can make. And I'll explain the idea of Kala Bhairava. The idea of Kala Bhairava is he is the master of time, and the reason why when you die in Kashi, your whole papa is gone, or your whole bad deeds are gone, is he doesn't take away the pain, it seems. He will pain you so much in those last seconds. It will be so much intense that it will burn away your karma so that you can join or you can have a rebirth, which is much more fresh. So is he hurting you or is he helping you? I think he's helping you so that you can live in peace. And that is a small, that is the idea where he needs to give up something to help other and to experience the pain. And that is a real metamorphosis for me, because to become that, I need to actually shed whatever I have now. And that is the process to become a butterfly, I think. I hope I communicated.
Yeah. So this is vintage Rajbhai explanations, which we all love. Yeah, actually, I mean, I was reminded of a Michael Haneke film. I will not name it for spoilers, but yeah, I mean, it is. You actually told us in the way we were also thinking, Rajbhai. Thank you so much. Tell us about the casting. I mean, so good actors. Every one of them are so good. I mean, of course, you are there, Rajbhai, but about the other actors, Mithilesh, Suhan, how did you do the casting? How were your choices about casting these right people?
So before I say that, we took nearly 1 year for the entire casting. So that was the secret behind it.
Okay.
So every character we chose were very carefully picked, and we did rehearsals, auditions with them for a really long time. And then in that process, some actors we had to let go, and some actors we had to retain. All these processes happened within this 1 year. But Mithilesh was very clear about what he doesn't want from the actors. What he wanted, we were figuring out, but he knew one thing, that he doesn't want this thing, particular things from the actors, and that helped us a lot. And for an example, this couple story, if I would say, we had to go to Bijapur. Bijapur is northern part of
North
Karnataka.
Karnataka.
Yeah, another part of Karnataka, and there we had to stay around 1 week to search this particular actor, Somshekhar Bolegaon, who played as a farmer in the film, and that was we waited there. Like we didn't get actors for around 7 days, and the last day when we were supposed to come to Bangalore, we got this actor, and some beautiful accidents happen in Roopanthara, and I'm grateful for those accidents, and that's how we found Somshekhar Bolegaon. And you can witness what he has done to this movie. I think he's been a blessing to Roopanthara. Everybody who has seen the movie come to me and communicate that it doesn't seem like he's acting. It seems like we have kept a camera in between their conversations and it is just flowing out. So I think that patience of Mithilesh and the entire team of casting for the entire film is the key to what is shown on screen today. Yeah, Mithilesh, if you can add.
Yeah. I would say how accidents happen. The lady who played the couple, her name is Hanumaka. She's a very famous theater artist. We came to know very late. So I was looking for the actor, the husband's role, and one person who helped me. His name is Ramesh sir. Ramesh sir sent me a number of an actor called Hanumantappa. Okay, male. So I called Hanumantappa's number. And then I spoke to a male picked up. I spoke to him a lot. And then we are doing a movie. We want to try you, North Karnataka. Then at last I told him, she is, and I started, he is, I started explaining the character. Then he said, no, it's, you called Hanumaka. It's a she. Okay, it's not he. It's I said, it's Hanumantappa, no? No, it's Hanumaka. So then, yeah, she can meet you. Okay. I was obliged to meet her. Next day, I went to Ravindra Kalakshetra. I met her. She's like from North Karnataka. I met her. I took photos. I sent to Raj. He's like, don't leave her. She has amazing, sharp features. Just don't leave her. They stick on to her. We did rehearsal. That's how certain casting happened. The other character who's the powerful guy who comes to the police station. My friend, his name is Salman Sharif. He has acted in a lot of movies. My friend Lekha sent me a photo of Salman, and it was still here. Okay, the image I had of his like tall guy who's an army officer and stuff. I went. He's not that tall. I went met him. So he's clean shaved, not that tall person. How will I place him as an army guy? He started speaking to me, and I was about to leave. I'm like, no way, it's not going to happen. Then he saw the script, which was in my hand. I was hiding it. He saw the script. So Mithilesh, how do you want me to read? He started telling Kannada dialogue. He was not fluent in Kannada. He started. The moment he read that dialogue, it was completely different from how we imagined. Completely different from how we imagined. And that was the moment. We didn't rehearse. I asked him to come to rehearse on that day before shoot or something. We were very sure. Those are the accidents. Then I asked Raj, should we ask him to grow? Raj said no. Because if you're casting him, let them not grow beard, because he should look like a perfect guy. A guy without any, it's proper. Without not growing. And that made sense. So these were the accidents Suhan is talking about. These were, most of the characters came like this. That was the journey.
Those are stories in itself.
Yes. I think we have seen that character so many times, which you mentioned, Mithilesh, like this upper class person who has his pompous ways and like owns the world, and like the world is in his back pocket, and
Correct.
such justice that character has been done by the actor. It is you could see that, okay, I have seen this person around me, like when I have visited certain places, and I have seen how self-important this is. So I think hats off to really all of you for that wonderful casting across all the story. Even the young guy, the guy who is playing the gamer guy, who doesn't really connect to his parents, like really young guy, but you can understand the pathos he's going through and the transformation inside him, like how broken inside he became just because of the experiences, as Rajbhai explained, experiences he had all through his life. And like you know that there is this flame of light and humanity inside him, which is still flickering, and that which comes out at the time. But all of them like together have created like such a beautiful moments on the screen. So only all I can say is like this is I absolutely enjoyed everything with the
Thank
way
you.
with all the actors. Yeah.
Okay. Rajbhai, tell us something. I mean, everything that is meaningful happening in Kannada cinema, rooted and meaningful, I would say, it lands up to either you or Rishabh Shetty or Rakshit Shetty. Some way or the other, be an actor, producer, writer, some way or the other. How does this always happen? I mean, this is consecutively. I mean, if any one of you associated a team, it's itself means that, okay, this has something to watch out for. This is meaningful.
I think that is not entirely true. The reason being, there are other people who are doing fantastic work in Kannada. The problem is, it is easy to brand because we all start from R, we are all end from S. No? RS. So it looks like a brand, and there are very Pawan Kumar has have done great work in Kannada.
Yeah.
He has done Lucia, which actually put Kannada cinema on a Indian map. And there is Hemant Kumar. Hemant Rao.
Hemant Rao.
And Hemant Kumar is another director. Yeah, Hemant Rao. Hemant Rao is doing great stuff here. And there are young directors who are doing fantastic job. The problem is, we have access. For example, I can message you and talk to you. And that is the reason, we are visible. And it looks as if, we are the only ones who are doing work. That is not entirely true. But most of the time, we are willing to collaborate with new teams. For example, Mithilesh, when he came, I think Suhan or me or Praveen, we didn't think twice whether to join this project or not. The reason being, the story is what driven us to join to the team. Well, with all the projects, that is true. When I worked with Sarkari as a writer, or Charlie as a writer, or this project as a writer, it is that there is something that I want to, in another word, you can call all the three of us very selfish. The reason, when there is something good, we want to get associated with it. And that is the reason, you see this name. But there are other names which are doing wonderfully well here.
Right.
While that is true, we have from the past what we are seeing, there was this even in the recent times we talked about Shivamma, and then we talked about Pedro, and we saw you in Ekam. So we can see that really not trying to diminish the other people who are great work which is happening in Kannada cinema, but this is some sort of a mini revolution, at least, which we are seeing in front of our eyes, and we cannot thank you enough for bringing this out.
I think I really think it's not enough. Whatever we are working, and that is not enough. I keep on ask Mithilesh. I keep on telling him and calling him and fighting him and telling that what are you doing? This is not enough. We are done with this project. Now let's focus on something new and let's do something new. And I keep on telling that with Suhan or anybody I meet, because I am not happy with whatever we have achieved and we are achieving as an industry. We can do a lot better, and I promise you we'll be doing a lot better in the future.
I have absolutely no doubt in that, Rajbhai and Mithilesh and Soham. Suhan, you're going to do great job. Rajbhai, tell us, we have to ask this. We have a lot of Malayali viewers on our channel who like our content. So we want to know from you, what was your experience of working with Mammootty? Really, this has been the question which I wanted to ask for so long.
I think I saw a scene from a movie called as Unda yesterday.
Unda.
And I was Unda. I was thinking wow, okay, as an actor, I know what are the techniques that he has used to make. I saw a Roger Federer interview where he tells there is nothing called as effortless, because everything has a practice which makes it look effortless. And when he is performing, it looks so very effortless. it is unimaginable. I think when I worked in Turbo, I was checking, like, it was a commercial film and he doesn't punch the dialogue. But when he ends the dialogue, there is a punch, which is so very natural and so very distinct to all the other actors. And then I watched Brahmayugam, and the greatest thing that I loved uh, working with him, and that I saw in him is he's a very natural actor, but that naturality doesn't affect the versatility that he brings to every single character. In Unda, when he is speaking, he looks as if, like, a police officer who's speaking to his subordinates. And in Brahma Yugam, he convinces you that, like, he is the owner of that place, who's an evil owner of that place. And there is a psychological and the way the physical distinct to both the characters, and it is very well felt. And I asked the same thing. I think, sir, how do you bring so much change? And then, fortunately, when I traveled with him to Dubai, he explained at least 2.5, 3 hours about what are the distinction that he brings in character. And I kept on learning and I kept on listening to it. And after I came here, every single character that I approach with much more devotion and with another new perspective that, like, if this character would have been played by Mammootty, he would have been done in so many different ways. So what are the elements that are bringing you that doesn't make you look like the same character that you have played before? I think that is something that I want to learn. There is a hunger that has come to me after I have worked with him, and I'm so fortunate and glad that, like, it came because of him.
That's
Wow,
awesome.
that's so good to know, and that is so.
That is so true.
I
Yes.
mean, that is,
I mean, at this age and the way the choices he is making, the projects, the challenges he's taking out, it's amazing. He can just sleepwalk through any role and it will still have a box office opening. And he will
Correct.
not do that.
He won't do that.
yeah.
He won't do that at all.
Before we close it, we want to know, like, what the future holds. Like, we know about Rajbhai, there is this multilingual web series that you are working on, and we want to know from Suhan and with Mithilesh also, like, what is happening in the immediate future and maybe in the short to medium term future as well with you guys.
So the web series you said, I'm also working with Raj on the same thing. So that's the next thing we are going to do together.
Could you tell us a little bit about the web series, little bit about what's going on? Just
It's too early. It's in a writing stage and casting stage.
Okay.
So I'll be playing one of the major role. That's all. Like,
We are sold. We are sold.
Yes, and Mithilesh, about you, what is coming for you from you? What you can expect?
Writing is a struggle. Trying to waiting for that moment where everything works out for a particular story. 2-3 stories, working out on 2-3 stories. So waiting for that moment where, okay, this is working. Let me start writing. So yeah.
So this can you tell us a little bit about your process of writing as well? Like, how do you conceive this, and like how do you think about a character or a plot or a positioning?
Initially, it was 3 stories: Raj's story, the couple story, and maybe the police station story. It was after I kind of got in touch with Suhan, I realized that why not I make these short films into one, and then I made it up, like the boy's story, and then I realized there is a link, and then why not say this story? You need a reason to tell stories. You need to, if it's about change, you need to bring that to the story telling space also. Are we looking for change with storytelling? So that thought kind of brought in the future world also. So when I met him, I had the entire idea. I told him like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of thing. I said it's going to cross and stuff. Then I went, like, I had a back pain and I had like 2-3 weeks rest in the bed without moving and all. It's during that time I wrote in my mobile phone the entire script, in which I sent it to him. So it was not easy process, but it took a very short time. It was not written from in a long time. So
Right.
characters were always there in the mind. So I kind of developed it before only. Writing took only 2-3 weeks. That's all. Yeah, that was the process. I hope
That's
all
awesome.
movies happen this way.
And also, are you happy with the response? Like overall, like what people, I think everything I've read about it, like I watched it
It's very
myself, and
positive.
everybody is talking about like all the positives which have come out and of the film and the way you have done it. So, are you guys happy with the response? Are you guys happy with what people are writing and all?
We are happy with what people are writing. I don't know if we expected this much, but we are very happy. More than that, when people come out of theaters and hold your hand and say it's still shaking, or when
Yes.
when they hug Raj in the way I have not seen them hugging him, or when they say, Suhan, thanks for making this movie. That's the kind of satisfaction you get. We want a lot more people watching the movie, but this is makes us very happy.
Absolutely, and I think before we end, I think I need to thank all of you. And first of all, thank you for making this wonderful film, and then taking the time out of your busy schedule and coming here and talking to us in such detail about every character, every plot point. Like this rarely happens. Like this is something which you have given us as a gift, also along with the film. And we wish you all the best, and we hope that a lot of people watch Roopanthara, and everywhere it gets screened. It will definitely be enjoyed and loved, and only more power to you guys with what you are doing. And I really hope that again we will see something more spectacular, something more brilliant and wonderful from all of you. Thank you so much, Mithilesh, Suhan, and
Thanks,
Rajbhai.
Ravi.
We
Thank
are
you so
truly
much.
privileged
Thank
to have you with us
Thank you
today.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Arup. Thanks, Shubhi.